Alrighty, fellas, good morning. My name is Patrouski. Welcome back to our PokeMMO stream recap, your daily source of tips, tricks, information, upcoming catch events, and just conversation that's happening inside the PokeMMO sphere. It's an honor to have you guys. Welcome back. I'm feeling excited, fantastic. It's been really nice taking on and off breaks and kind of taking a little bit more time off of stream, focusing more on guides and video content. You might have noticed I took like 2 days off stream recently. Both of those days I made very, I think, in-depth, nice guides, put them up the next day. It's felt amazing, and now I'm excited to be back streaming. It's like the perfect. I hope you guys have. I appreciate your patience. I feel a lot better. I hope you guys feel better with the content. I want to always make you guys content that I'm actually passionate about making, and that's where I feel like I'm at. And I want to make sure I always do that and make the right steps, even if it's a little risky at times or scary. Let's jump into the real thing you're here for, the upcoming catch events in PokeMMO. There is Let It Snow, a cryogonal themed catch event upcoming this Friday. This is in 2 days if you're watching the live stream, in 1 day if you're watching the recap the day it comes out. It's at 2 p.m. ET. That is my time zone. 2 p.m. ET on the 29th of August. That is Friday. I probably will try to stream this. If I have, I will try to stream this. Twist Mountain Unova. Cryogonal +10, Woobat Neutral Cubchoo -2, Nature bonuses, Calm +3, Timid +2, and then prizes, Shiny Cryogonal +1000 RP. Fantastic rewards. Really cool shiny. If you don't have one because you didn't do shiny wars, it's a great shiny. It's honestly kind of a rare, and I wouldn't say rare, but uncommon is honestly a great way to put it. Uncommon shiny, even though it has a time swipe horde. That time swipe horde is only available for certain time periods and seasons within PokeMMO. All right, next up, the Love Disc catch event happening on the 31st of August, Sunday at 1 p.m. ET, Route 19 in Kanto. Gonna be catching Love Disc. This is most likely a fishing event, okay? So make sure you bring, I don't know, it's pretty rare that Love Disc is I think it's only a fishing encounter. Let's actually double check in game. So you want to make sure you have your correct Pokemon rod. So you can find it very common. And you guys, let me, 1 second, let me move this really quick. You can find Love Disc very common at Route 19 in Kanto with a super rod, or uncommon with a good rod. So make sure you get your super rod in Kanto before this event comes up. That's always important to remind you guys. You have everything you need. And if they're level 25 to 40, if you're super rodding, it might be worth to either quick ball or net ball this event and have, the question becomes sticky hold. Sticky hold's an ability, or honestly, well, I guess nowadays you have Chum Bucket, but Chum Bucket gives multiple encounters. That'd be worse. Chum Buckets are probably bad for a catch event. It's interesting. I don't know how much people have tested this stuff. It'll be cool to see with all the new fishing buffs and fishing changes recently, how people approach a fishing catch event. Okay. First place prize, Shiny Love Disc, a kind of uncommonish fishing, shiny. 1,000 reward points as well, of course. The best time to win free RP is right now before event season. You're too nice to me, Insane Anime Boy. How you doing today? Welcome to the chat, dude. Okay. Smeared, a new catch event listed pretty recently. Smeargle catch event. I love the name of this. It's called Let Him Paint, which is really funny to me. Let Him Paint. Let him cook, man. Let him paint. Sunday, the 7th of September at 1 p.m. ET, Route 6 in Kanto. Snubble, Golduck, Gyarados, Smeargle, Growlithe, Jigglypuff, Vulpix, Abra, Meowth. Tons of different species to catch during this event. And then it is a shiny Smeargle. Shiny prizes all around. Shiny Smeargle prize. Your choice of 2 moves, nature, 3 IVs. You can go 3 times 31, 1,000 RP. Fantastic catch events coming up. And then we have some amazing suggestion box stuff to go over, which I'm excited to jump into. Now I want to preface as well, if I ever disagree with a suggestion box post, I want you guys to know that doesn't make it bad. That just means that personally, it's just, I don't personally feel like it's the best for the game, or personally don't love it for whatever reason. That does not mean it's bad. It takes a lot to think of an idea, to put it out there, to be, vulnerable, and to actually be that man in the arena, okay? So if I ever, disagree with a suggestion box post, always know that I still respect the people for posting it, and they are not wrong in any way. I just disagree with it. Let's jump into it. Someone says, an idea to buff catching Pokemon for profit. Hey, I thought of a way to make catching profit for viable. For those who don't know, catching Pokemon for profit was very viable for a very, very long time, and I used to always recommend to new players. I loved recommending catching Pidovs and Pidgeys and low-level flying type egg males on Route 1 in places like any region, Kanto, Unova, Hoenn. It was so cool. It was a way that new players could make 150 to 200,000 Pokeyen per hour at Route 1. It was very fair. That's a reasonable amount of money that a new player can make and should be able to make, in my opinion. but it wasn't like too broken. It wasn't too easy. It was, in my opinion, it was totally reasonable. Okay. And in my opinion, because of alphas, the constant alphas bleeding in 2x31s into the game over and over and over again. And then also not even just 2x31s, 3x31s. I think a lot of times with alphas, people forget that when an alpha is 2x31 guaranteed, that means getting a 3x31 is only a 1 in 6 chance. Because normally it's a 1 in 6 for a 1x31. So to get that extra one beyond the guaranteed, it's a 1 in 6. Every 1 in 6 alphas is 3x31, not even just 2x31. Where, oh man, a 3x31 represents how many 1x31 Pokemon? It's 2 1x31 Pokemon is 1 1x31, and then you would need, so is that 4? 1 3x31 Pokemon, I believe, represents 4 1x31 Pokemon. If I'm terrible at math, but if my math is correct. Which, that's insane. You know, that's crazy essentially, and it makes it really tough for the 1x31 market to ever keep up and compete. Nowadays, you just skip over 1 times, you go straight to 2 or 3 times because the alphas are so strong. Anyways, let's read what this person has to say. They put a lot of work into this. For many years, do they almost mention it actually? For many months and years, I haven't read this yet, the price of wild mons has been plummeting. Many species are worthless in terms of money. Some people are asking for a nerf of alphas, but nothing really seems to go in this direction, and catching my profit is dead for most species. Yes, unfortunately, this is the case. Imagine an NPC who would trade 1 Shido for 2 or 3 mons. You trade 2 or 3 mons for 1 Shido, okay. We give 2 or 3 mons to the NPC. The NPC gives us a low IV Ditto, maybe even like 15 across. So this is like an interesting idea. With that system, the price of a single mons will never be 0. At the current Shido price, 5k. 2 mons for 1 Shido, that means every mon is worth 2,500. If an NPC trade 3 mons for 1 Shido, that means every mon is worth 667. It's not a bad idea. My problem with this, and maybe you would just see this as like an extra like add-on thing. My problem with this is that it would make catching for profit so boring. Like, the cool part of catching for profit, in my opinion, when you call, I think we just need to nerf alphas. I think nerfing alphas is the best way to go about it, because it brings back catching for profit in the old way, which was a good system in my personal opinion. I don't think, not every old system is good. I think most of the time, like, adapting and progressing is good, but I think the old catching for profit system was fantastic, right? And when Pokemon's whole thing is, oh, gotta catch them all, it was really cool that catching was an actual, like, profitable, good gameplay loop that was really encouraged in Pokemon for many years. Now, my problem with this is that it makes catching for profit really, really, really mundane. Previously, when you were catching for profit, you'd be like, oh, hell yes, a 1x31 attack Pokemon with 20 plus in 3 to 4 other stats. That's awesome. I can sell that as a breeder for good money, right? This doesn't solve that problem. It just makes every Pokemon have like a base price, and it makes it really, really boring to where you still have that same problem of nowadays you catch a Pokemon with 1x31 attack and then like 20 plus in 3 other stats, and you're just like, this sucks because it's not worth anything. You're just like sad. You're just like, that's a bummer. Fuck, man, that sucks, you know? It's just not worth as much as they used to be, you know? You used to be able to catch Pokemon with, you know, decent stats all around, and they'd be worth something, and that's just not really the case anymore. They're still obviously worth something, but not as much as they would, you know. Like back this, not that prices need to stay the same forever, but they should still hold some. You should still be excited when you catch them on, even like 20 plus in every stat. That was the big thing. I mean, to be fair, this is like better than I expected, but they haven't been sold in a while. But like if these cost, this used to be like 20 to 30k a mon like this, and maybe that's too high. I'm not saying they have to stay the same price forever, but I'd love to see a mon that's like, this mon is almost 25 plus in every physical stat. That is insane for 5k, and it's been up for 3 days. I would like to see this at least. I would like to see it be like 20k. I don't know. This is like a really good one, especially. I think having that held value is important, because then it makes your mons worth more. It makes the effort you put in actually worth more. It makes every other catching mon. You want things to hold value. If nothing holds value, an economy is boring. I think that's really, really important. Everything becomes homogenous. I think that's the problem that this kind of continues, is the homogenous pricing of everything. That's my problem with it. But I respect the idea. Next up, we have a lot of simple suggestion box stuff. When was the last purge for team names? I don't remember when that was. We just had the username purge. Why not have the team name purge? Really simple suggestion. Not a whole lot to say beyond that. Yeah, why not? Yes, please. And then Xanarchy, very similar, simple, good post in my opinion. With Shiny War now being the event that has the shiny boost, I want to propose that the remaining events get reworked boosts that actually like fit their themes. I really like this. I'd never liked, for those who don't know, like 2 years ago or so, they released the first ever shiny boost in Pokemon with the Christmas event, and I thought at the time it was an apology. They released like a 10% shiny boost with or 20% like 2 years ago. I was not a fan. It was kind of insane, but I was like, you know what? They were late to releasing the Christmas event. I think that's why they did it, but then they brought it back every year, and it's like, okay, we don't really need a shiny boost every single year. That creates certain like problems and work and like trying to like plan for that and only playing during that time and etc etc, especially like when the event's going, I want to do other event stuff. But I like the idea. I don't mind the holidays themselves having a little boost, and I think I'm a big fan of this XP boost. I think if you want to boost anything in PokeMMO, I think boosting XP is one of the best things we can do, because most people aren't XP training as endgame content. People do shiny hunt as endgame content. It bothers me. I see a lot of comments of people being like, oh, who cares about shinies? They're just visuals. They're just vanities. That's like saying, who cares about mounts in World of Warcraft? Or who cares about, oh, it's just a diamond. Who cares about getting your wife a nice diamond ring for her wedding? It's just a vanity. Like, well, no, it has sentimental value. There's a value we attach to it as humans, whether you want to accept that or not. Shinies is a piece of endgame that people value. That rarity and that integrity matters. Whether you feel that way or not, you have to empathize that other people feel that way, right? However, XP boost is not really like that for the most part. I'm sure there are some people who like their favorite thing to do at endgame is leveling as many Pokemon as possible to level 100, and that's fun, that's cool, but it's not the average, right? I like the idea of an XP boost. Like, he says, for the Halloween event, I would love an XP boost. With the event raids and Pumpkin Boss, high-level Pokemon are in high demand for this event, so it'd be great to have XP be boosted. Xmas event have an item charm boost, previously being the shiny charm boost, but Shiny Wars now has that. It could be different for people wanting to go farm some extra items. I love it. I like the boosts impacting like the way you play the game and making it more engaging. If I'm an Iron Man, maybe I want to plan around amulet coin farming more during the Xmas event, right? I like the idea of it, of like kind of changing your gameplay in a creative way versus, okay, shiny boost, let me just go shiny hunt, like, you know, every single event, right? Lunar New Year event can remain as the yen boost. For those who don't know, there was like a 10%, or was it more than that? A small boost to Pokeyen gained from like trainer battles and gym reruns last year, which was, I think that's a fair boost. That was cool to see. Nothing wrong with that, right? You even do a battle point boost. Well, I thought this was a fantastic, I like this a lot from Xanarchy. Great post. All right. And then a big one as well. Yeah, also, that you bring up a great point, Dylan, in chat. Yeah, XP boosts helping people prepare for events. I think XP boosts during an event is fine, because then it helps people XP train any raids on the fly. If the devs want to release a new raid every day for like 14 days in an event where people have to like, oh shit, now I have to like prepare 6 new mons for this raid. We can only prepare as much as we possibly can, right? But sometimes a new mon comes out that you don't have, you got to prepare for. Why not have an XP boost? I think that's a genius idea. You're still putting in the XP training in general. I love PokeMMO, and I love grinding, and I think grinds are awesome, and grinds are really important. You do not want to remove too much friction from video games, because then the reward does not feel the same. I think if we're going to ease up on any reward, if we're going to ease up the grind on anything, I think it should be XP a little bit. Anyways, yeah, on to player-owned housing. Now, player-owned housing, I'm so glad it's being brought back up and being talked about. I talked a lot about player-owned houses in PokeMMO like 3 years ago, 2 years ago. Me and my stream have discussed player-owned housing in PokeMMO for the past 2 or 3 years, but we've kind of it kind of got left by the wayside with other possibilities, other updates, other things, right? But player-owned housing, or even I've talked about the idea of a guild hall forever. I think Team Mister is in desperate need of a guild hall. We have so many players, active players. We literally can't all fit on one channel for a team picture, which is that sucks. That's crazy, right? I love the idea of a guild hall to do that. But anyways, I like that PokeMMO housing is being brought back up. I think it'd be a cool Pokeyen sync, or Clue represents some like RP syncs. I am okay with some stuff being RP, but I guess RP you can buy with Pokeyen. So honestly, maybe it's fine. I think that maybe it's fine. Actually, it might be fine now the more I'm thinking about it. So let's go ahead and see what he says. Let's read through this a little bit more depth, because he put a lot of like effort into this, which is fantastic. Introduction. The housing update for Pokemon is a concept update that gears to allow players to have another goal to go for, and Pokemon while also having another money sink for mid to late game players. This feature would provide a goal for most players to strive for, give them a new way to customize their experience, and be able to socialize and show off their homes to their friends. This is so important in an MMO environment. While also benefiting the economy by being a money sink and a money redistribution tool, this feature would be built into the base ROM through Generation 5, but could include features from Generation 4 Hard Gold. Okay, yada yada yada. What I think is really, really cool, people don't realize, well, I think maybe people do realize, MMO players do know this. MMO players know how much money people are willing to spend for dumb vanities, right? I mean, look at Shiny Wars. People spent billions of Pokeyen, right? In old school RuneScape, there is an item called the coin stack, which you can build in your player-owned house in old school RuneScape. That coin stack is literally just a coin stack that sits there on like a pedestal. That coin stack costs 100 million gold, which is a lot. Obviously money, I haven't played RuneScape in like 4 years, so money making's changed a lot, but like it would be somewhere along the lines of, what's the equivalent to PokeMMO? I'm trying to think. It would be if you had like a vanity in Pokemon that cost like a household thing that probably costs similar amounts, like 50 mil, something like that, right? It would be crazy. It'd be crazy in my opinion. So I think it'd be cool. I think people would buy it, you know? Anyways, let's jump into what else Blue has to say. How would this work? How could it be implemented? Generation 5 Unova is home to many unique housing styles, which seem to be their own instances, and also seem to have their furniture and decorations generated via some sort of code. You could also argue it could be implemented with the Heart Gold, or not Heart Gold Silver, I'm sorry, the Hoenn secret base mechanic. You could just expand that. There you go. I'm going to skip through a little bit. You can go through this in more detail if you want on his own forum post. You can always find all the forum posts I cover pretty quickly on the PokeMMO forums. This is under the suggestion box. It was posted August 14th by Clue once again, if you're looking for it yourself. All right. Permanent housing deeds in the gift shop. Starter home deed could look something like this. 2 flat deed. Brit spotted, but this is cute. I do like it. Spacious home deed, like these are really, I love that he went around. In fact, these are perfect layouts in my opinion. Very, very cute. 2-story home deed. I love this. Limited deeds can also be obtained during certain time frames. Mediterranean, I love this visual. Limited deeds. Drayden's dead, like this is cool. I love his house. This is a cool one. You can literally repurpose the assets that already exist, which is so interesting. Mansion deed. Exclusively for the rich, ultra rich. Like this is so, I love stuff like this. Furniture items, he sources. I love, this is a little pumpkin that they made already. I love the idea of repurposing stuff that's already made into other pieces of content. Why, you know, I think it's a fantastic use of time. I've also always, I don't know about you guys, I've always loved this globe that's in like the Poke Centers. I think it's so fucking cool. I would love to have this in my own home, in PokeMMO, in game. And then now, I think the biggest thing with player-owned houses is it can't all just be visuals. You want it to be a lot of visuals, but I do want it to be some benefits. Hilariously, I think me and my stream 2 to 3 years ago discussed the idea of incubators in player-owned houses. Now incubators are actually in the game, but in a totally different way than what we were talking about. Back in the day, we toyed around with the concept 2 to 3 years ago on stream with the idea of your house having a standing like incubator type egg system where you can put your eggs in the incubator and then it would hatch them faster. You couldn't hatch like, you know, the 8 to 15 eggs you can now in Pokemon, but you could hatch the 5 eggs you could at a faster rate. And I thought that would be a good change that would cut down on the hatch time by like 10 to 20%, nothing crazy, like, you know, like we have now, but you know, I thought that was a cool small buff to hatching. Now we can't really do that because of what they just added. It's already too strong. That would be really, really fucking insane, but it was a cool idea 3 years ago before the current incubator system, unfortunately. Anyways, your mom. You can convince your mother in game to come live at your home. When in your home, your mother will heal you if you're put it at any time. I think this is really cool. Oh yeah, unlocking a PC, unlocking your mom, where you can sit at your in your home and hang out there. I think it's a cool hangout spot. Player shops. I love the idea of this. This is like already exists on the forums. Why not like take it to an in-game system? Home invitations. There's a lot of really cool stuff here. I really like that Clue and Arceus apparently like went through and like really like laid out things. We've talked about a lot of stuff intangibly and vaguely in the past on my streams, we never really laid it out like this. So that takes a lot of work. So I appreciate Clue, and also Epoch made a video, right? Yeah. By the way, Epoch recently, I heard, made a video on this, which I'm glad that other content creators are picking this up. I've been talking about it with my community for 2 to 3 years. I'm so glad that it's being brought back in discussion. It's becoming more discussed, and a lot of people seem really open to it, which is really cool. So it'd be a lot of work to implement player housing, but I think it could be a really, really cool thing for the game. I believe that's the last topic of intro I wanted to cover. Hopefully you guys enjoyed all the ramble spiels and just being involved in what's happening inside PokeMMO as a community and as a game. People are always discussing things. There's always ideas, always events. You know, let's actually play the game though. Let's actually jump into playing the video game now. I'll see you guys with any good questions from chat. Curanet, you're spitting absolute disgusting facts. Why is Jumpluff not banned in randoms? My king. Yes. Oh my god. Jumpluff is I haven't played randoms in a little bit. Jumpluff is my least favorite mon to play against in randoms. If you don't know, or just change the set. Jumpluff is a cool Pokemon. The problem is in randoms, they always go, is it Thunder Wave? It's Substitute, Thunder Wave, Leech Seed. So the strategy is just outspeed your opponent, set up Leech Seed, spam Substitute, and oh yeah, Encore T-Wave. It's the most if you don't have a like T-Wave, even if you have a T-Wave resist, if you don't have a Leech Seed resist or a Leech Seed immunity, and you don't have a Pokemon that's faster, when Jumpluff is super fucking fast, you just can't. It's very low skill. It's very like, if your opponent keeps it in the back, doesn't show you that information, sometimes there's just no way to beat it, and it's very unskilled, and it's very slow to die to, which also sucks. That Pokemon fucking sucks. I think Shedinja, Wobbuffet, Jumpluff, things like these, like uncompetitive mons, just ban them in randoms. It's just not fun. They're not fun. They're not enjoyable. They're not skill based. I'm no PvP expert, but I feel pretty strongly on these ones. I could be convinced otherwise. Don't get me, I'm not the arbiter of truth, but I don't. As someone who has used those mons and been against them, I love Jumpluff. I actually used to run a Jumpluff in OU back in 2013. That was Swords Dance, Aerial Ace, because Acrobatics didn't exist. It was Swords Dance, Sleep Powder, Aerial Ace, and then it might have been Sub. And that, like, if you're gonna do like I outspeed you so I get some advantage set, do an offensive one that at least can kill your opponent quickly, or get punished by priority, or get punished by Icicle Spear, or get punished by a Sleep Powder miss, or there's so many things that could punish that, right? The Sleep Powder stuff is just fucking boring. Yeah, do an offensive set. That would be sick on a Jumpluff. I'm so glad you brought that up. Okay, I have a non-PokeMMO related piece of business, chat, okay? Who was this? Raise your hand. Who was it? I was playing Team Fortress 2 the other day, and somebody fucking noticed me. I thought it was the cutest. I was sitting there like, oh my god, please don't realize how dog shit I am at TF2. Who was this, man? Shout out to fucking Liam Lime. I was playing Pyro, which my least favorite class in the game, trying to get the quests done, embarrassing myself. I love TF2. I'm terrible at it, but it's such a fun game. I'm a scout main in TF2. It's fun, the speed. I love the flying guillotine, my favorite weapon of all time. I used to be a big Sandman into flying guillotine combo before that was nerfed way back in the day. Nowadays I do the Rap Assassin and flying guillotine just for fun. I'm terrible with it, but it's fun. I thought it was so funny. So shout out to Liam. So wholesome, so funny that someone recognized me in TF2, man. That was a really cool experience. Here, I just got switched to channel 70 in PokeMMO. It said channel 70 is too full. And it's just so funny to me. People always ask, is PokeMMO that popular, Patrouski? Like, how's it doing? How's the player base? We don't know for sure. Everything we go off of when it comes to Pokemon's popularity is based off of guesstimations, based off of GTL numbers, YouTube analytics. Like, we don't have their player numbers and they don't share them. So everything I say is guesstimations when it comes to the Pokemon player base, but we have good ways of going about the guesstimations. So, for example, someone said yesterday I was in channel 128. I've seen, I've seen similar situations. I can speak to that with anecdotal experience. Now, I could also speak with anecdotal experience, to be fair, that I would guess, we don't know how many people are allowed per channel. I would guess around 100, maybe 120, okay? The reason I know that is because when Team Mister tries to organize for a team pick, we can't fit everybody on one channel, which is a huge problem, right? We have about 150 or so active members, maybe 120 people show up to the team screenshot. So that's why I get that like 100 to 120 number. I would say that I would bet you the channels allow 100 to 120, and that's at one location in game. That's not across the whole server. If you could have 100 people in channel 1, from my understanding, I could be wrong, but from my understanding, you could have 100 people in channel 1 in Viridian, and then 100 people in channel 1 in Pewter, and then in, you know, Lavender. Like, they can be whatever different locations. It's all about channel plus location, right? So using our calculator, if you got to channel 128 and there's 100 people per channel, that equates to 12,800 people at that one location in game. 12,800 people all running to like one alpha ditto, for example. That to me is pretty crazy. If there's that many people running to like one thing, I think it's safe to like ×5 or like ×10 that number to get an idea of the concurrent player base or the players like online at that time. I think that's pretty crazy. Maybe, you know, it's just numbers, guesstimations. Feel free to disagree. But I think I think PokeMMO is doing well population wise, is what I always say. I think the market's rough. There are, you know, things start with negatives, but I think population wise, we're doing pretty freaking well, thankfully. Patrouski, do you think it would ever be possible / practical to get to a point where you have so many good Pokemon that when the event season arrives or rolls around, you just go, oh, whatever, you know, an X example raid, let me just go grab 6 Pokemon from my PC really quick, but for anything and everything? Is this how guide makers like Cav get things done so quickly and make things look so relatively easily? Yes. It's all preparation. Literally, like 90% of success in PokeMMO is preparation. I've reached that point on my main account, right? I have so many raid Pokemon on the main account. I just go, okay, this raid dropped, even though maybe it's a brand new raid we've never seen before. I can just go grab 6 Pokemon and go do it. On my Iron Man, I'm not there, right? But I'm trying to get there, right? I think it's easier to get there. It's not easy to get there. Let me say that. I want to say it's easier to get there than people realize. Like if you just play the game. I always try to, if you want to make progress in PokeMMO, it's really hard to not make progress if you just put the hours in. If you just play the game, you'll make way and have fun and do what you want to do. You'll make way more progress passively than you realize. But it is really hard. It's going to take like months to years to get all the raid Pokemon that you could pop. That is peak end game, and it should take years to get to peak end game, right? In my opinion, for an MMO. Not for every game, but for an MMO. Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, most like end game, they just have so many. Look at Jedge Guns. Like when he gave away a lot of his mons to me and other people, he had like also multiple builds. That's a huge thing, is a lot of endgame players. This was the case for PvP back in 2013, PokeMMO as well. Back in 2013, I knew friends who had timid Starmies, modest Starmies, different sets. Like there's just tons of different ways to build Pokemon. So, and you just kind of build them along the way, and you passively build quite a collection. Absolutely. Great question. And then you can do, I always say, the video I released, was it today, this morning? I released a video this morning called like the 20 Pokemon you need to beat all the Halloween raids. Once you have like 20 Pokemon, you can probably do like 90% of raids in the entire game. Maybe even less, maybe like 12 to 15 for like the fire team, the fighting team. You don't need that many Pokemon to do like 90% of raids, but if you want to do 100% of raids, that's when you need like a fair bit more, you know, interestingly. All right, it is time for either your most favorite or least favorite part of the PokeMMO stream recap. It is time for the MOVIETROUSKI takes. My name is Patrouski. I watch a lot of movies. Do I know a whole lot about movies? No, not at all. I don't know anything. I'm stupid. I just like watching them, okay? That's it. I'm no movie savant. I'm no movie expert. I just enjoy watching them, and I enjoy logging them on Letterboxd to keep track of what movies I've seen and to go through my past, my memories, and have a better, you know, logging of all that stuff. It's a lot of fun. Check out Letterboxd. You can find me on Letterboxd at Patrouski on Letterboxd. If you follow me, there's a pretty good chance I follow you back. I like seeing different movies people are watching. It's just been a fun passion for me recently, or over 2025. I've watched like at least one movie a day, if not over one movie a day for most of 2025. All right, we're gonna go from bottom to top. That's the order I watched them in. Lady and the Tramp. Obviously, I've seen Lady and the Tramp before, but I haven't seen it since I was like 6 years old. It's been a really long time since I had seen this movie. I watched it with my wife. How can you be against Lady and the Tramp? It's just a cute movie. It's the most movie to watch with your partner and be like, us, oh my god, so us, OMG us, and it'll just make them really happy. The most important thing in Lady and the Tramp is there's one of the dumbest jokes I've ever heard. At one point, one of the dogs says something that he says, but remember, my friends, even Tramp has his Achilles heel. And then the Taco Bell Chihuahua goes, "Pardon me, amigo, what is this chili heel?" And there's the Happini encounter. Nice. I was fucking dying laughing at that stupid joke. Anyways, I gave Lady and the Tramp a 9 out of 10, a 4.5, a like. Great movie. How could you not, love Lady and the Tramp? Next up, the Family Guy something. Okay, I went on a dumb brain off binge watch recently I rewatched all the Family Guy Star Wars, okay? Love it or hate it. I'm not a huge Family Guy guy. I grew up watching it when I was 12 to 14, like most of us do. However, call it nostalgia, call it whatever. I still have this weird, I like falling asleep to Family Guy. It's still sort of this nostalgic thing. It's a guilty pleasure. I'll give it that. Watching Family Guy to some extent, very much a guilty pleasure. Is it a good show? No. Family Guy might be the most close equivalent we have on television to scrolling TikTok, in the means of every bit is disconnected and they're all just different cutaways and different jokes and gags, and it's never really a consistent storyline like you would expect from a TV show or a movie. I gave the something Dark Side one, which is the middle, I believe one. The middle. I think it's the middle one, the 5th Star Wars parody. I gave it a 2.5, 5 out of 10. It's a perfectly fine brain dead watch to some extent. Honey Don't, me and my wife saw in theaters. Holy fuck, this movie is bad. Oh my god. I was optimistic. I was hopeful. The trailer had 1 or 2 cringe jokes, but I was like, you know what? Trailers right now are not that great. They're stereotypically great, but they have whatever problems. They either show too much or show look at the Minecraft show with the llama. They do what they think people will laugh at stupidly, and I just don't love it. I don't love trailers right now personally. Not all of them, but some of them. Honey Don't, dude. I wrote a very long review for this. I'm gonna read through some of it. I'm giving this movie the same score as Smurfs 2025, just so you know what you're getting into. Let's start with the positives. Amazing cinematography, insanely creative cinematography, engaging even from the most casual watcher. There's things like a doorbell shot that zooms in, many shots from below the main character to build suspense that look really sick and look amazing. The transitions between certain shots and objects is phenomenal, and they really utilize Margaret Qualley's very sharp and beautiful face structure. They have a lot of angles where she's on the left side looking very straight out, and you have something curved around her facial structure. The cinematography in this movie is fucking unbelievably good. It's kind of crazy. There was a really interesting plot in the trailer that didn't really develop in the movie. That's one of the positives. And then the actors, I feel all did really well. The cons of this movie is that it has some of the worst comedy I've ever seen in a movie. One of the quotes of the movie is Chris Evans talking to Margaret Qualley and being hey, why don't you let people in your life? Open up, honey. Why don't you let people in your life? And she responded, I have my dildo for that. Maybe I can't. Maybe it's just not for me. That kind of humor makes me cringe out of my mind. Whether I couldn't do it. That's kind of stuff is just really, whether male or female orientated, holy fuck, I can't do it. I cringe out of my fucking brain. I feel we're just taking steps back for that kind of joke. The plot is an absolute clusterfuck. They don't wrap up anything. They don't develop anything. Everything that you think is a good or interesting plot gets left by the wayside. This movie is... my final TLDR is, I'll say it once, I'll say it again. I'm glad that women are getting gooner bait, bad action, dumb comedies like guys have gotten for decades. I love, I get it. I like that kind of movie too, but fuck, man, we can do better than this. This is not worth it, okay? I love my dumb comedies. You can critique my stuff. I just rated Goon with, highly. I like Happy Gilmore. I like a lot of these dumb movies. I like dumb comedies, okay? But man, this is rough. This is not for me. My wife didn't like it. I gave it a 1 or a 2 out of 10 because our redeeming qualities, like the cinematography. My wife also gave it a 1 or a 2 out of 10. I don't know who this movie's for. It's just one of the worst movies. I think it might be the worst movie I've seen in theaters. Well, top three worst movies I've seen in theaters. Next up, the family. It's fucked up. The Honey Don't being a 2 out of 10 squished between the Family Guy movies. You can bully me for that. That's kind of funny, right? My movie takes are not good. They're just my movie takes. Yeah, that would be a better movie. Family Guy presents It's a Trap. This is the best one by far. I actually laughed the most at this and found it the most interesting, and it's just dumb separated bits once again, but they were all quite funny. I really liked this. This is I rated like the first Family Guy Star Wars parody a 2 out of 5. The second one a 2.5 out of 5, and this one a 4. This one got a really high. This one was the best one by far. It was like so above and beyond the best one in my personal opinion. That's all I need to say about that. Anyways, moving on. The Evil Dead. This is a cult classic. Like, I want to call it comedy horror, but it wasn't supposed to be a comedy horror when it came out. It was supposed to be a serious horror. However, the people who made it are such good sports and were so like smart about it, they leaned into the comedy horror in the next iterations of the franchise. So I'm excited to watch the rest of the franchise or watch more of it. Apparently there was a 2013 or 2012 remake that's actually like fucking terrifying. I haven't seen it. But The Evil Dead, I think my review was something like, I totally get how this has a cult classic. This is a cult classic that actually makes sense to me. I totally see it. Really fun, really interesting movie. Very unique. I can't watch, if I had the urge to watch Evil Dead, there's no other movie that I could think of to watch that would simulate that same experience. It's very weird and unique, and visually it's very its own, is what I would say for sure. It's like a weird classic comedy horror. Next up, we start getting into like stand-up comedy. I went on a little bit of a stand-up comedy binge recently. You're going to see more of that in later stream recaps. But Matt McCusker, The Speed of Light, I thought it was pretty solid. I thought it was fine. I thought it was solid. I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. I laughed a bit, but not as much. I think I laughed out loud very little. Probably once or twice. I thought it was good. I really, really like stand-up comedy. My wife hates it. Good example. Like, comedy is the most subjective thing, I feel like, by far when it comes to media. So, especially when it comes to comedy takes, if you agree to disagree with me, more power to you. That's the best place to, fight over stuff, right? Or just understand differences. Next up, I watched American Psycho for the very first time in theaters. They did a re-release. I was so happy to go watch it. Hell fucking yeah. It turns out this American Psycho movie is pretty good, guys. I don't know if you heard of it. It didn't really quite get a like for me because I don't really relate to the material, but it's a really, really, really good movie. Let me go find my review of it really quick. Now, I didn't realize, nobody told me that American Psycho is just a dumb comedy. If someone told me, I thought this was going to be like some really serious drama movie. No, it's a dumb comedy. And if you disagree, I'll fight you over it. This is a dumb comedy through and through. It is like a little bit of like a retrospective on like the failing upwards of certain people in society, but it is mostly a dumb I would say 90% this movie is a dumb comedy. How is this movie does not have the comedy tag anywhere. I don't understand why that's the case. That makes no fucking sense to me. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I think American Psycho is like comedy first, like wildly comedy first, like 80 to 90% comedy, like insanely comedy first. I literally think American Psycho, the closest movie, maybe I'm just biased, I love this movie because I'm just biased. The closest movie to American Psycho is fucking Step Brothers. It sounds crazy, but Christian Bale's character is just a man-child. Like, that's the whole... Like, my review is American Psycho is a 90% a dumb comedy movie akin to something like Step Brothers. And I fucking love it for that. Just call it what it is. It's a movie about a man-child businessman who gets away with being a goofy guy, let's put it. Such a fun, lighthearted watch with a tinge of dread at the end when you remember that people like this actually exist IRL who do just fail upwards regardless of their self-implosions. It's just a goofy-odd movie about a goofy-odd guy. Like, this is a... I was so shocked. I put off watching it for so long because when a movie is very serious, when a movie is very considered a classic and very, very good, I want to like really give it my full attention and give it my full appreciation. This is a comedy. This is a silly, dumb comedy, and that's it's great. It's a great movie, but just know that going in my opinion. It's just totally categorized incorrectly, but it's an amazing movie. Now, I gave it a 9, but in reality, considered a 9.5. That's what I wrote in my review. This is not a 9 out of 10. Letterboxd only does up to 5, so to consider this a 9.5 for all intensive purposes. My only problem with the movie is that I wish it delved a little bit more into like the philosophy of it and like the actual. I wish it was a little bit more critiquing and a little. I love comedy, a little bit less comedy orientated. But it's a really interesting movie. Definitely, obviously watch it. It's a classic. That's the meme. Yes, I'm so glad you mentioned it, Tom. I would love to see who it was, actually. Oh, who was it? I should know the name. The first, this has got to be the world first. This has to be the world first. An Iron Man got the PvP hat recently. That there is no shot that's not the world first. I would love a screenshot, yeah, if you could find it. I believe it was it the tentacle hat or it's either the Dunsparce or the tentacle hat. I don't know which one. But an Iron Man got XEREX. Yeah, yes, thank you. XEREX got, it's got to be the world. I could be wrong, but it's got to be the world first. XEREX got the world first PvP hat. That's fucking crazy. Do you know how many games you have to play to get that? I have, for example, 1,200 matchmaking rewards, and that took me almost 80 games. What's the math on that? Like, it would be, let's say it took me 65 games to get 1,000 reward points, something like that. 65 to, so it'd be 10,000 points divided by, I'm making this math, it'd just be like 10, right? It would just be like 65 times 10, right? You'd have to play like 650 OU games to get this on average-ish with rough calculations. That's fucking insane. 650 OU games. To build an OU team fast enough on an Ironman account and then to do that much is, it's just not even is it hard on an Ironman account, it's also insanely time consuming. That's so much grinding. All right, and on that note, the quickest outro of any stream recap ever in history. My wife is going to Olive Garden. Thanks for watching. Like the video, subscribe, follow on Twitch. Have a good day. Factor, YouTube membership, Twitch subs, yada yada yada. Fuck your mom. Bye. Love you guys. Peace. Yo, what's up? Outro Patrouski here, and I wanted to take this time to say thank you to everyone who goes above and beyond and supports my channel. Your names are all listed here. You make it possible for me to make helpful and mildly entertaining content for the game that I love and make it available for free for everyone to enjoy. Thank you so much for allowing me to even be here.